Hello and welcome back to Pentor Cars, Cornish car collectors, where we buy, we sell, we restore and more often than not we keep modern classic cars and cars of interest. Please do have a look at our channel and watch a few of our previous videos. Hit subscribe and that little bell icon that comes up so that you're notified when we post future videos. We've got some great cars coming up and we hope that you enjoy watching them as much as we enjoy sharing them. Now, what have we got today? I'm not sure if you've noticed it, but it's this, our R52 Mini Cooper S convertible, here in this very vibrant flip paint job, which as I understand it, was around £4,000 option from BMW and Mini when this car was new in 2006. Love it or hate it, one thing that I know is you will not lose it in a car park. Now join us as we take a walk around the car, share a little bit of the history and take this hot Mini for a drive. In the meantime, please do hit like, please leave us a comment, we really appreciate it. The first new generation Mini was introduced in 2000 and it was the first new model to be launched under the Mini mark since the original car, which was discontinued in that same year. Designed by Frank Stevenson of Ford Escort RS Cosworth and McLaren fame, Frank took real inspiration from that original two-door design. Development of the car started in 1995 by the then Rover Group at their Gaydon site in England and by BMW in Munich in Germany. And there were many disagreements between these two design teams, most notably being that Rover were keen to replace their outgoing Rover 100, better known as the Metro, with an economy car, and they hoped that would be the Mini, whereas BMW were more minded to launch the Mini as a small and sporting car. Now, BMW sold the Rover Group to the Phoenix Consortium in 2000 and took with it the Mini mark. They actually moved the design and the development of this car to their Cowley site in Oxford. Imagine what would have happened if the then ill-fated Rover Group had actually retained the Mini and brought this car to market, as was originally planned, before BMW changed the deal just before it was signed. The Generation 1 Mini went on sale in 2001 in a three-door hatchback variant. The Mini 1 was the then base model with a 1.6 litre engine, although it was powered by a 1.4 litre engine in some European markets. The R50's Cooper was the more sporty variant of the car, albeit mechanically identical really to the Mini 1, with the exception of an upgraded ECU that increased the power output from 90 brake horsepower to 115. The headline grabbing R53 Mini Cooper S followed just a year later in 2002 with 165 brake horsepower, a 6-speed gearbox, a bonnet vent on the front, centre mounted exhausts and that all important supercharger. In 2003, a Toyota engined turbo diesel joined the range, and in 2005 the R52 convertible came along. In 2007 the Generation 1 Mini had to make way for the Generation 2, and that's when the model numbers really got out of hand. The R55, the R56, the R57, the R58, the R59, the R60 and the R61, and then came the Gen 3 with the F56, and it continues to this day. But for this video, we're going to focus only on the Generation 1 Mini produced between 2001 until 2008. In 2005, Mini's first convertible, the R52, went on sale and was produced until 2008. It was the final piece in the Mini range jigsaw and proved highly successful with the buying public of the time. Now there are some styling differences with the convertible compared to the three-door hatchback of its time. The first being some retro boot hinges here on the back of the car, a boot lid that opens just like the classic Mini did, and also these chrome effect silver rollover bars in the back of the car. Unlike the R50 and the R53 Mini, the R52, the convertible, was the first of the Mini range to be developed purely by BMW themselves. Now the hydraulic electric roof is really well engineered. It offers two settings. The first, a partially opened setting, and for really nice days, a fully convertible option for the driver to enjoy. Now the roof folds away neatly to make a small spoiler, I suppose, for the car, which doesn't look too bad. Now our Mini is equipped with the full John Cooper Works tuning kit, the 210 horsepower tuning kit, and also the aerodynamic kit, both of which were factory options from BMW and Mini at the time. And I'll just read to you what's included with the John Cooper Works tuning kit. So this car has the upgraded cylinder head, the smaller supercharger pulley, the uprated injectors, a Teflon coated supercharger core, a remapped ECU, updated air-to-air intake, and the John Cooper Work badges around the car and the alloy wheels. The names Cooper and Cooper S are the names used for sportier versions of the classic Mini, which in turn come from the involvement of John Cooper. John Cooper Works upgrades to the new Mini were developed by John's son Mike and officially sanctioned by BMW. The JCW kits are not cheap, with the Cooper S upgrade costing around £3,000 at the time. However, all are very collectible now, in particular the GP Works cars, of which just 2,000 were built. So our Mini Cooper S is an extremely well specified little car. In addition to the expensive flip paint and also the John Cooper Works tuning kit, the car also has full black heated leather interior. It has the cruise control, electric folding mirrors, and the Harman Kardon stereo upgrade. It's a very nice place to be, being sat in this little Mini Cooper. Also, being a facelift car, it has the 3-point steering wheel as opposed to the 2-point steering wheel, which again is a nice touch. And the speedometer, the large speedometer there in the centre of the dash, won't be to everyone's taste. So when buying this car new, you could have opted for what's called the Chrono Pack, which actually moves the speedometer up here next to the rev counter and puts an oil pressure gauge and a few other gauges there in the centre of the dash. But let's take it for a little drive. All Minis drive extremely well, even the base models, but it's a privilege to be in this Cooper S with the John Cooper Works tuning kit fitted to it. As I said earlier, delivering 210 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 time of 6.5 seconds. This car revs so well, it handles so well. You can see why they are earning a classic status already, these Mini Coopers, and being so sought after. But also thinking back to the kind of mid-noughties when your friends might have been driving, I don't know, Fiesta STs, Megane Sports, Clio Sports, Peugeot 206 GTI 180s, all great cars. But come home with a Mini Cooper S and you had the ultimate bragging rights. You had a supercharger. Now, an interesting story about the Generation 1 Mini design when it was in development is that the then BMW board of directors were ready to see a clay mock-up of the car, and as it was being prepared, ready for the board to come in and see it, Frank Stevenson, the designer, actually noticed that they'd forgotten to put an exhaust on the car. So he quickly grabbed a beer can, punched a hole in the beer can, took the paint off it and stuck it onto the model. It took moments to do, and when the board of directors saw the Mini, they loved it. They loved every part of it, and they gave it the green light and they said, don't change a thing. And that's why when you see a Mini, And you see that exhaust with that small lip at the back. That's the reason why, because Frank found a beer can and stuck it on the back of the car. And that's about it for us and our little mini adventure. We're going to be putting this car up for sale in the not too distant future, having really enjoyed owning it. Please do hit like and please leave us a comment. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon here at Pentor Cars, Cornish Car Collectors. Bye for now.